Who's scruffy looking?
So believe it or not, the last time we did a canon book review on the Talking With My Hans book review club was the Rise of Skywalker novelization way back in the beginning of the year. We did a canon review for A New Dawn, but that didn't come out this year. Today I have a really special treat because we're covering the newest canon book just added a couple days ago, and it's this one sitting right here. Star Wars Queen's Peril by E.K. Johnston. I had this book pre-ordered. I was super excited for it to come out. It came a couple days late, but I still blew right through it. It's a short read. It's pretty good, but is it better than Queen's Shadow, its predecessor? Well, I guess you're gonna have to watch and find out. So, Queen's Peril by E.K. Johnston is the prequel novel to her previous canon installment, Queen's Shadow, which was a prequel to Star Wars Attack of the Clones, which itself was a prequel to the original trilogy. Okay, I'm glad that I got that off my chest. Like her other novels, Queen's Peril does not have that complicated of a plot line. It tells the story of Padme taking the throne over of Naboo and then finding her famous handmaidens. Each girl has a specific set of skills that allow them to each help the queen in their own specific way.
But what I do have are a very particular set of skills.
About half the book is set in the weeks prior to The Phantom Menace, and the rest of the book chronicles the unseen events from the film. Usually when I do these reviews, I try to find something about the book that didn't quite suit me that I think you guys would find as useful information. In preparation for this review, I tried to do the same thing, but in all honesty, I really couldn't find one thing to dislike about this book. If I had to say something, I guess it plays more towards a younger audience, but even that isn't true because I'm not that demographic, and yet I still really enjoyed it. So instead, this is going to be a very rare, all-positive review. Let me tell you the best thing I found out about this book. It gives the reader a whole new appreciation for the Phantom Menace and the background characters we never really got to know. Queen's Shadow did the same sort of thing, but this one did it just as good. In my opinion, one of the best things Star Wars novels tend to do is really bolster parts of the saga films that were either underdeveloped or didn't get that much screen time. Queen's Peril does an awesome job of that. The other thing I really loved about Queen's Peril and E.K. Johnston's writing style as a whole is how she humanizes these very sterile characters. In The Phantom Menace, the handmaidens are, to be brutally honest, almost non-existent and a non-factor. But E.K. Johnston has this beautiful way of deepening characters and making them feel like someone that could easily be your friend. She did the same thing in Ahsoka and in Queen's Shadow as well. Just as a sidebar to that, what makes this really great is that while this book is about Padme and her rise to power in Naboo, it's really about relationships. It's about her relationships with these girls. The conversations feel really, really natural and really represent a certain human experience that a lot of people have. Queen's Peril is also incredibly refreshing as a story. It's very politically based, whereas the most recent Star Wars content we've received is very much not. Those of you that follow me on Twitter know that I'm a huge sucker for the politics behind the scenes in the Star Wars universe, so this was a really fun read. Also, it's almost entirely a female ensemble in this book. I can't remember the last time I read a novel, not including Queen's Shadow, that was almost entirely female-centric. Not that that automatically makes the novel good, but it was new and refreshing to hear a different voice. Also, if you're a frequent watcher of the Talking With My Hans book review club, you'll know that I'm a stickler for longish books. When a novel drags for too long, it gets stale and hard to follow. Not every novel that is long is stale, but there are quite a few that are. Darth Plagueis had its fair share of some pretty stale moments. Queen's Peril, like most of E.K. Johnston's Star Wars novels, is a quick read. I blew through it in just a few days. It keeps your attention and never lets you drift off. Each chapter shares something impactful and furthers the story. E.K. Johnston really does know the value of not jumping the shark. If you happen to be new to the Star Wars universe, that's not a problem with Queen's Peril either. While I wouldn't consider this book to be a Phase 1 must-read right off the bat sort of book, please watch this video if you have no idea what I'm talking about. It is a great read if you have just seen the movies and want to expand your Star Wars knowledge just a little bit. Queen's Peril and Queen's Shadow, for that matter, are both very accessible for all Star Wars fans to appreciate, which is not something that is all too common anymore. Secretly, I was really happy that Queen's Shadow got a sequel, or a prequel, I guess, because while I enjoyed it, I always thought there could have been more, and here it is. So the final verdict for Queen's Peril by E.K. Johnston. It's a fun read for all fans, and it's definitely worth checking out. I don't think it's a must-read by any stretch of the imagination, but if you're a teenager or a preteen, I think this book and the characters are really going to speak to you. There's absolutely nothing negative I could say about this book that would make any difference at all. So, with that being said, it definitely gets my seal of approval. Leave your review in the comments below if you've read it, and let me know what you thought. Okay, until next time, I'll see you guys later.
Gonna be all